It was around this same time of year, several years ago, that I found myself in an undesirable situation. I had recently moved back to my hometown in what was intended to be only a temporary stay. I had several plans for the months ahead. There were many events and gatherings that I was planning to attend, and from there I would continue across the country to see about some work opportunities that might be awaiting me. Essentially, I was hoping to settle down someplace else, someplace new, and to start a new life for myself. I had also gotten out of a long-term live-in relationship, which was partly the reason why I had moved back home, and I had found myself feeling a little lonely, a little restless, and also a bit depressed. But I was also a bit hopeful. I was looking forward to getting back on the road, to going out and exploring the world some more, meeting new people, and perhaps finding a new place to call home. And just a few weeks before leaving, I came down with what I thought was just a cold at the time, but it lasted much longer and seemed to worsen over time. In fact, it turned out to be an extremely severe sinus infection, and what seemed most unfortunate about this was that it was encroaching upon my plans. So this sinus infection lasted for about a month, and one of the events that I had been planning to attend was already taking place at that time. I remember sitting outside one evening thinking about how I was missing out on this event, how I was missing out on all the fun and excitement, how I was missing out on meeting so many new people and perhaps making new friends. And I would be missing out on so many other events and gatherings, as well as other opportunities which I would have to forfeit. The work opportunities were also time sensitive, and it wasn't looking likely that I would make it in time. So I was sitting there in the darkness, thinking about all the things that I was missing out on, feeling that I was missing out on life itself, consumed with thoughts spinning around in my head, all the noise, all the chatter of my own mind going on and on about how terrible it all was, how shitty my life was at that time, how unfortunate I was to have come down sick and to miss out on so much. And as I was sitting there feeling sorry for myself, ruminating over all of this, suddenly there was a gentle sound that broke through all the noise and grabbed my attention. I had never heard anything like this before. I had no idea what it was, but it was beautiful and I wanted to hear it again, and so I became very quiet, giving all of my attention to the silence of the night. And there it was again, this strange and beautiful sound, which later I would come to learn was a type of owl. But what had happened in that moment was that it had pulled my attention out of my mind, out of that incessant thinking, and into the present moment. And in that moment there was stillness, and it was profoundly beautiful. For a long time I just sat there listening to the night, no longer caught up in my own mind, and it was immensely peaceful. After a while, I realized I wasn't agitated anymore. I wasn't restless nor depressed. I was actually quite content, even happy. In fact, it didn't even seem to matter much that I was still severely ill. Though my body was in such discomfort, my mind was at peace in that moment. And I thought it strange that I could feel so content despite that condition. And for a moment, I laughed. I also realized in that moment that I had, in fact, been missing out on life, but it wasn't due to my being unable to go anywhere or take part in any gatherings or events. It was due to my own mind with all of its negative thoughts. It was due to being so wrapped up in thought that I couldn't see nor appreciate the simple beauty of what was right in front of me. Life isn't something happening someplace else. It's right here in this moment. And that's what I was missing out on. And the only thing that was really missing in that moment was my attention. But as soon as I shifted my attention, as soon as I embraced the moment just as it is, without the need for it to be otherwise, I no longer felt as if anything was missing. And I was able to enjoy the moment, able to deeply appreciate it. And from that time onward, I continued to give my attention to the moment. I let go of the desire to be elsewhere. I let go of the desire to be doing something else. I let go of the desire to be among others or to find a partner. I let go of the desire for life to be anything other than what it currently was. I let go of everything and just surrendered to the circumstances in which I found myself. And in that surrender, there was such a deep feeling of tranquility and contentment. There was an embracing of life, not as I had wished it to be, but as it actually was. And I was no longer missing out on anything because I was there in that space, in that moment, fully present, fully appreciative, and fully alive.
If you find value in this content, be sure to like, share, and subscribe.